Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Fab's in the house, and today I'm in the house with these two bad boys over here. Couple of amazing pieces. This is the large Sebenza 31 ladder and box elder burl, and this is the large Sebenza annual. Also box elder burl, and we're gonna just do a quick comparison between these two guys. But hey, don't forget to like the video and to subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying this kind of content. So let me first get rid of my ring. We don't want to mess with these two guys, and you can also see that these two guys, when closed, are really similar because of the inlay. Of course, this is the same wood employed for both. You've got box elder burl for both, but you can see that the grain is absolutely different, and you have a little bit of also profile difference. This guy feels a little bit more rounded off. Like just check the edge over here, and you can see how's the transition, how's like very gentle, whereas on the 31 you have just a flat surface, and then you can see the chamfer going on. Maybe you can see like that. So that's one difference, that in the hand you can feel it. Like this one is absolutely rounded off, and I love it. This guy is a little bit flatter, and it's not bad in any means. I love this guy, but this one in the hand has a very different feel. It feels chubbier, and it feels the hand more, a little bit more than that, but still, this is of course like a gorgeous one. Also, you see that they are both going around the pivot like that, underneath this handle screw, and there is a little bit of difference in the heel of the blade, as you can see. See, it is a little bit more pronounced than this one, but not by much. Of course, they both have the dual tone finish, so they have sand blasted lock bar, clip, and edges, and a satin flats on the show side and on the back side. Also, like if you see, like for example, from this point of view, you can appreciate one of the major differences that is going on between these two guys, and you can see that there's some ridges going on in the annual, which are absent in the 31 and in the 21. The annual has let's say a flat profile over here, especially in this side and also at the heel, and the 31 has these chamfers going on both sides, and here much more. Also, like the chamfering going on, it's just there's one dimension on the 31, and here is more like rounded off, so it's much gentler, and I prefer like this rounding off like that. This is just like an angle, you see. There's no, like, this is kind of like, looks like 3D kind of thing going on, and it's I prefer this one. I like these grooves also going on. The stop pin is basically the same. Okay, the standoff also is pretty much the same. You have an opening going on. Let's do like maybe like this. You have an opening going on the lanyard hole, so you see in this case lanyard can do this kind of movement because there's this chamfer going on for the for that specific area, which is lacking in the annual over here. Also, you can see another difference, like in this position over here, you see that the relief, it's a little bit lower right over here in the annual, and a little bit higher on the 31. When the length of the lock bar, it's pretty much the same, as you can see. So I don't know why they did that, but that's just a thing. If you turn it on the back, you're gonna notice, of course, that there's a Hideout made stamp over here, and it's pretty clean. And of course, I prefer this one. Why would you do that? Everybody knows that it's made in Hideout. No disrespect, but the cleanliness and sterile look on this one is just much more classy. And honestly, I'm not a fan of this font over here, but I mean, it is what it is. I just prefer like a cleaner look, and that's just me. If you check the pocket clip orientation, of course, this is the straight orientation, like for example, you would find in a Sebenza 21, and the 31 has more angle positioning, like the Incosi, for example. It's going to be angled in the same way. In this case, you can see also like another difference. That if you open the knife, you're gonna notice that the lock bar relief is completely redesigned. Of course, there's more resemblance of with the 21 than the annual right over here. In fact, you can see, look at this, these grooves are going on both sides, on the show side and all around the lock side like that. Whereas in the case of the 31, sorry, you have a nice finger groove, you have a little bit of chamfering, wider chamfering over here than in the 21, for example. Like that, you see, there's much less chamfering going on. You can appreciate like maybe in this position, and so that's something to notice. Of course, this is like a distinctive feature of the regular handle for sure. Also, like the point on the on this area over here, it's a little bit more pronounced on the 31, a little bit softer and smoother on the annual. Okay. Also, you can see another difference is that, like from this point of view, maybe you can appreciate it's like how they ground the blade. So here you have a plunge grind, which is actually happening a little bit earlier on the annual than on the 31. In fact, you can appreciate how thin behind the edge this guy is, maybe from this angle over here. It's a little bit differently ground. Both are hollow grind. Both are drop point, both have the same thumb stud, but there's some differences. For example, from this point of view, you can appreciate that the jimping on the annual is longer than the 31. You can see that the crowning is pretty similar. The thumb stud is the same. Press fit, but there's a little bit of difference. You can see that this thumb stud over here has some indentation, whereas on this guy over here it's just flat like that. Maybe you can see better. Also, there's a little bit of difference in the blade shape, because here you have one angle over here and then goes down from this point here. Okay, in this case you have just straight down up to this point, and then it just descends down here. Here you have probably like 40% belly and straight edge up to the sharpening choil. Here maybe you have 35%, 30% like more pronounced belly. And then here you can see that it's not really that straight. So you have like a kind of like a super gentle belly going on. It's like it's not like extremely flat, straight like this guy. Both are sporting hollow grinds, and they're both gorgeous. I mean, there's nothing wrong with any of these. These are two fantastic knives. Just a little bit of little nuances. Like also, for example, if you check the opening sound of the 31, it's gonna be this kind of clack. If you open the annual, it's smoother. It's less loud. Okay. This is clackier, it's sharper, and this is mellower. When you close the knife, that's the annual, and that's the 31. So pretty similar. That's the 31, and the annual is just has a little bit more like a tinkling sound, but quite similar. In the hand, they feel both really good. I have to say that in my case, I actually feel probably a little bit, but just a tiny bit more hotspot for the pocket clip in the 31 than in the annual. And of course, like they're gonna feel pretty much the same in this area over here. I would give it to the 31 just because there's a little bit more relief to access the lock bar. This is probably the best design improvement they did after the 21. See, of course, much greater area to access that. It's gonna translate into easier access and less fatigue. But I mean, nothing going wrong. You know, nothing wrong in this one. You just have less area, and you have this a little bit sharper edges. Not too sharp. I mean, it's chamfered, of course, but you can feel it. It adds some grip, but honestly, I prefer that one. Another big difference, of course, is that. The 31 has the ceramic lock bar interface that has been introduced, and this guy just has some carbidized lock face, so this might be prone a little bit more to lock stick than this one over here. Also, another little difference is gonna be the weight, but this guy also has some Damascus blade. But let's just quickly check what difference are we talking about. Just remember that there's no internal skeletonization for any of those, and just remember that this is 4.56. Remember that there's like a lanyard bead going on the 31, and that's 4.56. So probably this is weighing a tiny bit less if you remove the bead right over there. But I mean, overall, these two guys are just like fantastic options. You have the old, you have the new option, and it's just gonna be a matter of your pocket, because of course remember that this guy is gonna be twice as much as this one. So they are not cheap. I mean, this is not cheap by any means, but this guy is going to be much, much more expensive and much more rare to find, because these are made in the hundreds, of course, and these are made just only 60 of them. So keep that in mind. But hey, don't forget to like the video and to subscribe to the channel. If you want to know more, please check out my full-length review for both of these guys. Thanks for watching and stay tuned.